Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? You are now tuned into another episode of the Podcast with Tigmatic. Hey, listen, we here, y'all. We moving and booming. Another one in the books. Sit back and stay tuned. Y'all know the vibes.
Everybody go attacking with the pop.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of me on
and you are tuned into the Pop Podcast.
With the Pop Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down.
To follow the Pop Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.
Introducing the all-new, all-natural Wrap Patch. The smoking bandage for broken, stale, cracked, torn cigars, cones, cigarettes, wraps, you name it. Here we have a stale cigar with 2 holes in it. We're going to take our brown paper wrap patches and we're going to tear it in half because a little goes a long way. You lick the shiny adhesive side of the wrap, and then you apply it to the damaged area, smoothing it over as you go, like you see me doing here, to get all the air bubbles out and to make it a complete airtight seal. We're going to take our other side of our wrap patch and do the exact same thing with the other hole. These are our brown papers, and now we have a completely new fixed cigar. No need to throw it out, no wasting money. Now we have the same cigar, completely broken in half, and these are our white colored papers. As you see, the shiny adhesive side is the side that you lick. Hold your piece of your damaged smoking vessels together. Apply the wrap patch. And it doesn't even have to be perfect. These are how well and how good the wrap patches adhere. Smooth it around. You can add heat to speed up the drying process. But like we have here, a completely fixed, airtight sealed cigar. Odorless, tasteless. It's a game changer, y'all. Get yours now. TheWrapPatch.com. Patent pending.
Hey G, what's up? Hey, I'm good. You see that going?
I really want you. I really want you. I really want your pepper soup. You caught my attention. My eyes on you, baby. Beautiful distraction. With me, I like it gold. I salute to the way that you shaking your boots. Hope you catching the shot at the shoot. So what's the deal? Oh, if you show me mind the mind, calling you from 6 to 9. Cause now you ain't in my mind. Spoiling you from time to time. Give you stroking bind to bind. Calling you from 6 to 9. Cause now you ain't in my mind. I know you're tired of me playing around. I think it's time for us to settle down. But it's on me to be a man of me, yeah. And let you know I'm serious. I hope you really know what I feel. I know I mess up, baby, that's for sure. I do need you walking out that front door. You ain't leave me. Please believe in me, yeah. And I'ma show you love like you never felt before. Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? Would you mind if I iced you? But I want you, baby. Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? Would you mind if I iced you, baby? Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? How many carrots do you want your ring? Just answer, would I give you anything? Give you everything. Did you ever ask? Don't judge me by my past, 'cause I'ma make it better, baby. I know I mess up, baby, that's for sure. I do need you walking out that front door. You ain't leave me. Please believe in me, yeah. And I'ma show you love like you never felt before. Would you mind if I wiped you? Would you mind if I iced you? Don't wanna rush, but I want you, baby. Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? Would you mind if I iced you? Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? If you don't mind, I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. Would you mind if I wiped you? Would you mind if I iced you, baby? Don't wanna rush, but I want you, baby. But would you mind if I wiped you, baby? Would you mind if I iced you, baby? Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? Don't leave. I'm begging you, please. Oh, said I'll give you everything that you want, yeah. Oh, would you mind if I iced you, baby? Would you mind if I wiped you, baby? I'm all about you right now. And you know what, man? Listen. Just listen. Now, I've been playing a field, baby, for a while. But it's just the same thing every night.
All right, y'all. We are here. Listen, I have my guest. She's in the back. She is someone who is a fighter. Before I get into that, I hope y'all doing good today on this Wednesday. And to let y'all know, y'all tuning in to Going In Radio. This is hiphop.com. Hollywood Radio, Hollywood TV, and Going In Radio. So we moving and booming, y'all. So like I said, my guest, she's a fighter. She is the queen out here. Listen, she fights for the rights of others, which means she cares, y'all. And which is why it was only right to bring her on here, you know, as I do a community week and as I get myself ready for this weekend of love for the West festivities. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little flustered. I need a little sip of water. But like I said, she fight for others. As we get ready for this community week and more love being spread this weekend, I have my guest, no other than the awesome, the powerful, the talented, the real Dr. Porchse Miller. You there, Queen?
Hey, what's up? Good evening, everyone. Peace and blessings.
Hey, welcome. Welcome to the pot. I'm here. Hold on, I'm here. There we go.
Hey, what's going
Welcome
on,
to the pot.
Thank you. We've been waiting for weeks for this, so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So let me get you the solo cam real quick. You know, I like to let my guests introduce themselves and have the floor. So the floor is yours, Queen. Do your thing.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Porchse Miller. I'm known as Queen. I am a national civil rights activist. They call me the voice of the movement. I've been doing this for over 20 years as an advocacy for community engagements. I'm the Chief of Community Affairs for District 58, State Representative Park Cannon here in the Atlanta metro area. I'm also a member of the DeKalb NAACP, and I'm the field organizer for BLM Grassroots ATL under the lineage of BLM Grassroots out of Los Angeles under the leadership of Dr. Melina Abdullah.
Hey, that's what's up. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
We've been talking, corresponding, having some great dialogue, talking about some things. So it's only right that you be on here and we talk about what you're feeling right now, what you want to get out to the world and, your message. But before we get into that, everything starts with a story.
That's right.
So before I get into my questions and everything and get all, personal with it, as they say, before I get into all that, I want to ask you your hometown.
My hometown, I am originally born and raised in Dothan, Alabama. So I am a Southern Belle by the way of Buffalo, New York. I come from a village. I'm the oldest granddaughter out of the South. The second oldest is the first oldest is the oldest granddaughter in the North. So I come from a very large family. And so not only I was raised as a niece, nephew, I was also raised as a sister and a brother. So I am the third child out of four. One has passed. My parents have been together. The wonderful Mr. and Mrs. Donald and Anna Mitchell, they've been together for over 46 years. Praise God. I come from a faith-based family. I'm also the goddaughter of Pastor Kenny Glasgow Sharpton. He is the brother of Reverend Al Sharpton. So that's my family. Shout out to my cousins, Dominique Sharpton, Ashley Sharpton, my best friend Kiana Glasgow. I have been part of the movement of activism. I grew up in it. Even though I'm a product of my environment, the streets didn't stop me from doing the advocacy work of the people. And that's how a village is supposed to raise you to turn out to be such an amazing person at the end of the day. I'm also the executive director of the Ahmaud Marquez Arbery Foundation Incorporated on the father's side, which is Mr. Marcus Arbery, and shout out to Ms. Wanda Cooper Jones. They are doing a fantastic job trying to keep their son's name alive. I work with other
Absolutely.
impacted families. I've fought with Until Freedom, that'll be Tamika Mallory and the crew, for justice for Breonna Taylor, was locked up in Louisville, Kentucky. Also fighting for Rayshard Brooks here in Georgia, was locked up for him for, taking space on the highway. I was facing 5 years, and I just want to give a complete respect shout out to attorney Gerald Griggs for making sure that did not happen. It took a long fight. However, I came out unscathed, but I came out stronger to fight for the movement. It's so important to understand that it's not only just those high profile cases, families that we're out here fighting for, but I'm also fighting for our Georgia families, such as Mr. Jimmy Hill. He's fighting for, and Mrs. Tammy Featherstone, for their son and nephew, Jimmy Atchison, that was murdered by the police. You have others that's here in Georgia that's going through this fight as well. Young children like Leading Borkins, that was killed in a pit maneuver. Young men like Vincent Truitt, that was killed and shot in the back. It's just so many, especially when it comes to the state sanctioned violence that we as BLM grassroots fight against, and to continue to say and qualified immunity. So just to make a long story short, it's bigger than titles, but
That's right.
I appreciate the people that sees me, that understands that I'm not here for fame. I'm out here to get the job done. And
That's
I
right.
work for God first, and I put the people on my back to do so as well. This is a ministry, it is a calling. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for the people that really takes the time to understand the assignment. When God wakes you up in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, listen, I need you to get on this." It's not a conversation. It is a space of spirituality that keeps us involved. We get weary, we get very tired, but if we don't do it, who else gonna do it?
That's right. If we don't do it, who else is going to do it? And I agree with you there 1000%. And I support, you already know this, BLM grassroots. We here, y'all. Listen, boots on the ground, y'all. We here.
BLM grassroots is Black Lives Matter. So,
Absolutely.
I've been rocking with this organization for a few years now, and I just want to say that it's people that's out here doing the work and really trying their best to stay focused outside of the presence of the oppressor. And so I just want to just say that I've met a great deal of activists across the country that's unsung. They probably don't get the same airway vibes or media, than everyone else. But sometimes I'll be like, sometimes the unseen don't get the blows that the ones like us get, because sometimes it's just never be enough. Even though you're doing all you can. But what did Jesus do? Jesus did all he can. He did all the miracles and all he could for a lot of a lot of people that needed healing, and a lot of people that needed an understanding, and yet the government killed him as well and nailed him to the
Amen.
cross. So we have to make sure we understand that our burdens and our crosses that we bear is not only the ones that Jesus did, but at the same time our sufferings would not be as much as he did, because he put his life on the line for us.
That's right. And our sins were washed in his blood.
Ashe.
It's a fact. Oh, so, Queen,
Yes.
your story is layered with resilience and activism.
Thank you.
So I just want to ask you, how are you really feeling today, mentally and emotionally?
Um, I'm okay. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, so I suffer with PTSD and major depression disorder, and military sexual trauma. So when things are the things that are in high temperature in this country, it makes me sad because I know for a fact that it's people that swore an oath to protect us, domestic and foreign, that has signed their life over to fight for a country that is so willingly showing us that it just does not care who is affected. Only I'm sorry, only the wealthy are the ones that are getting the privilege to live in spaces that us under the poverty line would probably never see, because the hits and the attacks would come on the people that are the poorest, even with the houseless. How can you look at someone that has nothing and criminalize them for as such? Is not enough mental health facilities to vacate the ones that really don't want to need to be outside, but at
That's
the
right.
same time you penalize them and charge them for things that you know they cannot even bail themselves out for. So I love the fact that the state representative District 58 Park Cannon, we pride ourselves as a grassroots staff here in Georgia at the Georgia State Capitol. We always take the time out to show a community initiative, to show our unseen, our houseless, that we care, and we give out toiletries. We even on Mother's Day, we take the time and bail out single mothers that are mothers that are incarcerated that cannot make their bail. So these are the things that you do outside of the work that you focus on. We want to make sure every voice is heard. We want to make sure every person is noticed and seen and helped. I mean, you can't help them all, but if you can reach one, you know what I'm saying? You can help a
Absolutely.
multitude, And I tell anybody all the time, you don't need a major number of people to make it happen, whether it's 5 or 55.
That's right.
Amplify, say
Strength in
something.
numbers.
Yeah, it's a power in numbers, but you got to keep your spirituality intact. I don't care
That's right.
what faith you in. Step outside your religion and find God, and that's where you get your strength and health from.
That's a fact. And it helps you up here, y'all,
That's right.
mentally,
That's right.
because when you get it intact spiritually, mentally follows.
That's
So
right.
we here. Listen, uh, you've done it all, right? For years. Protests, courtrooms, protests on the front lines, doing what you do, fighting for our people, right?
hmm
What does mental rest look like for you if you ever get it?
The art of nothing. That's what mental rest looks like to me. I'm always in a space where of doing. Givers don't givers don't receive a lot, but we get our blessings through our giving, and you can't beat God given no matter how hard you try. However, to me, self-care looks like mindfulness, meditation, taking a breath, and practicing the art of nothing. And that's saying that sometimes we feel like we have to do something every day and every waking of our being, of our time. I had to learn the art of nothing through therapy and knowing that I'm not in the military anymore. So this art of nothing started some years back, and it
Right.
started around the time I met my now husband. He is a 13-year combat veteran Marine, and 13 years non-combat veteran Marine. So he's done things and he's did things under the umbrella of America, right?
Yep.
It's so important that Black people understand that therapy is okay, because they got to know
That's
that
right.
they're famous artists, or they're famous actor or actress. They go to therapy, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And a lot of them, if they go into these gigs and have to play a serious role, you know what I'm saying, they have to.
Sometimes it's hard to snap back from. Yeah.
And some people, the young man that played the Joker, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
Heath
saying?
Ledger,
He
rest in
could
peace.
he could not recover from that particular that particular person, that villain he played. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so we must understand that it doesn't matter how much money you have. You have the best
Right.
comedians that committed suicide, not because they didn't have the money or their funds weren't right. It's because they were so busy making everyone else happy, they forgot to figure out what was going on the inside. You
That's
know
right.
what I mean? So I just want to, make people aware that getting help and protecting your mental health is not a sign that you're crazy. It's a sign that, honey, you are tired and somebody got on your nerve. You
That's
know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? Or something happened in your life that was so traumatizing that it's stopping you from being your best self. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
So how long have you been doing therapy?
Oh man, well, I've been doing well how long I started taking it serious.
Yeah.
I started taking it serious when I met my husband. Because when I first got out, you know what I'm
How
saying,
many years?
we've been together 15 years.
Okay. Okay. That's
Married
a nice
13
time.
years. Yeah. And it has its checks and balances, but prayer and seeing things through, that's what really helps to be able to conquer the things that some people don't have. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So when people, I want to say uh infidelity and all that stuff, a lot of that don't never play in a lot of relationships, right? But if like some of these young people, if you don't help them with their mental health, this crashing out stuff
They
is
won't
because
know how to bounce back.
they don't have no outlet. They don't have
Right.
people to say, hey, listen, you want to talk about it? They don't have, you know what I'm saying, someone that's telling them, hey, look, I see you going through something, like, what's up with you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, somewhere some people lost their way and they're just like, okay, maybe I had my children young, I'm just trying to live my life. But at the same time, it takes a village for one child. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? And so I actually took it serious when I saw Family Values. I saw the Braxtons,
Okay.
and they was in therapy, and I said, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? I
Hey,
never
I'm familiar.
knew black.
I watched it with my wife.
Yes, yes, yes. That was on their first episode. But one thing, as a culinary student, but one thing I realized is that even seeing Tony Braxton, one of my favorite artists, in therapy, like I was just like, wait a minute, I didn't know that black people took it serious with that. It was at that
That's
moment
right.
I was like, okay, wait a minute, this might not be a bad thing. Let me do it with my husband and see how it works out. And I realized I didn't deal with a lot of things that I went through in the military, such as military sexual trauma, you
Right.
know. And I did not know how much it was affecting me, doing a whole lot of spending and a whole lot of traveling. You know what I'm saying? I did a whole lot of spending and a whole lot of traveling. And I was
Yeah.
addicted to not feeling. So whatever that was, I put it in the back here. And I was living my life not knowing that I had my own things I had to deal with. And being out here in the field and dealing with people, I decided to go back to therapy. Why? Because I need an outlet in order for me to continue this fight to help others that are being affected and impacted, and taking preventative measures to try to tell them, hey, look, this is the way to heal. Because at the end of the day, as an activist, a lot of us, you don't have people out there helping the people that's fighting for the voiceless.
That's right.
There's
We
there's
always need a
there's
support system. That's right.
Yes, yes, yes. And so if we're out here and we're left without support system, it can kind of could probably affect our own household or whatever the case might be. And
That's right.
we be so engulfed into the movement, we'll be like, you know what? I got the movement, but what about the people that really love you the most?
Right.
Right? The
Right.
people that really love you the most are the ones that's saying, hey, you need to come home. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I can see this affecting you. Hey, let's pray. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I
Absolutely.
would never, I would never sacrifice my family when I've already sacrificed enough.
Right.
to put my family
And I can
before
relate to that.
the
I can
movement.
relate to how you feel.
I just can't do that. I'd rather fight for my family and then say, okay, God, give me a better way to fight for the people and beside them so I'm able to be a better me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we
Man.
should see it. But people that's veterans, we understand that. That's what I want to say. We understand the leaving your family and going back after your leave, and now you got to go back, and they have to, and your family have to deal with this trauma of seeing you for a little while, and now you got to go leave to do your duties as a soldier.
Well, I want to say this first. Thank you for your service. And I know it sounds cliche for people that serve. You know, when people say it for what y'all experience, it has a different type of feeling, especially if you know what you've really been out there doing and how it makes y'all feel after the fact. So that's a whole nother side of it that causes the PTSD to begin with.
Exactly.
So I understand that. And you know, being diagnosed with it myself, I have a full understanding.
We
of
had
what
that
it's like.
conversation. Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
So,
As a gun violence from a gun violence survivor to you, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
But you know, I've been in therapy since 2012.
Wow. Okay.
So I've been going through it, you know, life be life, and you know, when therapy helps. And when you first start, for a lot of people, I don't know, you know, how it feels for them, but when you first start, you don't really share much because you gotta try to fill this therapist out. And for me, I went through several therapists before I even got to that one.
Too. I did.
You know, so it's hard to open up and share what you feeling, what you go through, and even accepting the steps to help you get to where you're trying to go. You know, so I understand that part of it. Yes, the work is definitely important because PTSD, for those that don't know, definitely causes anger issues sometimes within us, mood swings, and a lot of other things, nightmares, everything. And you know, some of us don't want to be on the medication, and God is the avenue to help us. And that's what it was for me. Jesus Christ was the way to get through.
Yeah, but that's why I learned holistic healing though, is through therapy. I had to end up with the right therapist, and I was just letting them know. I was like, I just really don't like how this medicine making me feel. I don't like the grogginess. I don't like
make you feel like you're on dope.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wait, this is just a lie. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna practice herbalism. You know. Okay, I mean, but it did teach us how to work our cognitive skills.
Absolutely.
It did. I remember when they gave me them piece of paper with all the smiley faces in a circle, and then they'll tell you to look at it and ask you how you feel. And I'm looking at this piece of paper like, all of a sudden, you go in, you know, with one of them days, right?
You find out things about yourself you ain't never found out.
I did not know holding my words and holding myself was causing me so much anger on the inside. I'm thinking I'm just trying not to be confrontational. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, but it taught me to express myself without using my hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I was the type of, like, I'd rather use my hands than use my words. However, that's not the right way. You know what I'm saying? You don't supposed to be bringing harm to anyone. Not saying I was starting anything. It was just more of like, you know, you just, you know, product of your environment. Black people are survivors. We was taught to fight. That's one thing these young people don't know how to do is use their hands, right? But you know, to live to fight another day. Different time and era. So, you know, you just gotta, you know, thank God that I want to say we started in 2011 with the therapy thing because he was going through a lot, you know what I'm saying? And as a war veteran. And so we were friends when he did start going to therapy. So when it was like, well, won't you try it? I was like, me? What I need to try it for, you know? You know, but
that's the first thing we all say. As soon as they say you need some therapy, what I need therapy for? Ain't nothing
Yeah,
wrong
and
with
they
me.
wasn't saying
And
it
we
in
really
a
had that
rude
feeling.
way. And they wasn't saying it in a rude way. It was just, he
Mm-hmm.
was just so happened to be at the VA hospital. I'm trying to help him get himself together with his benefits and stuff like that. And then the lady was like, yeah, so won't you go? I was like, oh no, girl. I was like, I'm straight. Like, life is good. I'm not really going through anything in my life in particular. Come to find out, I was hiding a lot of my feelings.
Absolutely.
Masking them and traveling and moving a lot and spending like a whole lot of money. Like, I guess they said I was addicted to retail therapy. That's a
That is
true
the true
thing.
thing.
And
Yeah.
and yeah, so yeah, like, and I'm just want to say I'm proud of you for finding your way out of that. And I'm just glad that we're having this conversation because mental health is a real thing. And if
That's
nobody's
right.
noticing how the world is moving, everybody's moving off anger and not understanding. A lot of people is moving off anger and not understanding. And some people are so angry that if they feel like if they let it go, they might not be able to function. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
we have to give people
absolutely.
grace with that, but don't be nobody's pushover, nobody's, have some boundaries. I had to learn boundaries. I didn't have those either.
Me either.
I
Me
didn't
either.
have none,
I
and I don't
understand.
know if that's a good or bad thing, but I used
I
to
didn't know how to
just,
have I didn't know how to have boundaries for myself,
yeah.
and I didn't know how to respect others' boundaries.
Oh,
That was the issue I was having
I had a, no-
because of my
yeah,
PTSD
yeah,
and how angry I would get. And if they needed a moment, like, yo, listen, I just need a moment, bro.
right.
You're not hearing me, bro. I need a moment. I wouldn't understand that at first, but because I'm like, yo, why they acting like that? Well, sometimes it
Hmm.
happens for us. But the more we learn about ourselves, we learn that these tools can help you through so many situations,
Absolutely.
through everything in life, whether it be time management or something as small as, preparing yourself for the day.
That's right.
Mentally, you have to be stable enough to see the bigger picture and everything that you're doing.
Hmm.
And
And then
sometimes
also you have
PTSD
to,
can block that.
it can, and also you need to learn what your spirit, your counter spirit is. Like like I've learned that I don't start anything with anyone, but
Right,
I've learned in this movement that the spirit that follows me is the spirit of provocation. So what needs to happen is when I see it, I don't feed it because it's a limited spirit,
right,
right?
right,
It has limited power. So if I don't feed it, whether I respond to it or not, it ain't gonna make no difference because my job is not to feed into it.
right.
You know what I'm
You
saying? Because I
deflect
know,
anything that comes your way.
right, because
Not
I'm
well, not
aware,
deflect.
not fight or
I,
flight.
not deflect. I would say brush it off. Brush anything negative that comes your way.
Yeah, because you sometimes you have to understand it's not you. It's the spirit that's within. You know
That's
what
right.
I'm saying? So it gets some time where some people they need to just take it out on somebody, but at the same time, don't be bullied into things. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Always move in love and know how to pivot. Once you learn to move in love and know how to pivot, it has to die off.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? Because what don't be fed has to die. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? And we learn
That's
that in
right.
science. You know what I'm saying? A tapeworm can only feed off what it's attached to. You
That's
know
right.
what I'm saying? So if you don't feed the parasite, there's nothing for it to latch to.
Latch on to.
It has to let go eventually.
That's right.
You just have to be the one to withstand it and get through it. Ask God to 23rd Psalms. You have to ask God for protection. You have to understand that there's gonna be people in your presence. You don't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
you look
right.
at the temperature of the world. We have a president, you know, he's just out here unhinged. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He don't know a lot of us, but he don't have a problem putting us in dangerous times and spaces.
Yeah.
You know what I
Or
mean?
bad business situations.
Right.
Just to get what he want to get across.
Right. And as a veteran, knowing that our benefits, our health care and stuff like that is under attack. Oh yes, I'm on the front line. Because some of us, we need our health care. I'm right now suffering from lung damage from a biolab explosion not far from my house that happened in Conyers. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I did was breathe. All
How
I
long
did.
ago was this?
This was September 29th of last year when it
wow.
happened. Yeah, and it had me real down bad. I was really, really sick. And so even knowing that I was in such a space where I really went home to die. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
was so weak. I was scared to close my eyes and go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And even though I was going through such a element time in my life, it really didn't stop the spirit of provocation. You know what I'm saying? That's when I realized, okay, that's my spirit. That's the one that is following me. You know what I'm saying? Like some people got the spirit of alcohol or the spirit of sexual and uh,
Immorality.
yes, immorality. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
because if you don't find out what that is, how can you fix it? You
Right.
get what I'm
And
saying?
you have to understand what you can.
Hmm.
What you have to understand what you need to conquer. I'm saying it a little wrong, but you have
Yeah,
to understand what you need to conquer.
right. So
I'm
like I
saying it right
said,
now, but I was a little tongue twisted.
that's okay.
My
That's okay.
apologies.
That's
So
okay. That's okay.
so here's my next question to you. As someone who's been arrested fighting for justice, how do you mentally prepare for moments where your freedom is on the line for a cause?
I keep fighting. I keep
That's
fighting
right.
because I know that I'm not going to jail for something criminal.
That's
I'm
right.
practicing civil disobedience. I'm doing the same thing my forefathers and foremothers did, like John Lewis, Fannie Lou Hamer, Rosa Parks, Fred Hampton, Assata Shakur, Finney Shakur, Angela Davis, Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, Billie Holiday.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I understand my mother was born in 1954 and picked cotton. Her and my father was some of the first students that started in the integrated school in the city of in Dothan, Alabama.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I come
now
from one
that's
of the
history.
Right. I come from one of the racist cities in the state of Alabama. So I understand how it feels to be pulled over and profiled. You know what I'm saying? But I also know how it feels to have your own people pull guns on you and destroy your peace in your home.
Right.
So that's why I say I'm a gun violence survivor. I had police officers pull me, my husband, and my boys over. I don't have physical kids, but I do have children that I raise, right?
Right.
And so, and they're gonna always be that to me. However, somebody had to do it, and I'm proud of them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not out here bothering nobody's children. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? And they're being very successful in their own paths. However, the police pulled us over the day of my grandfather's wake, and they had us out in the scolding, all because we stopped in the hood, called Baptist Bottom, and bought juice. And I wanted to go get a dress because it was hotter than it was here in Atlanta. And we went to this store spot that was like a mall, air plaza area, and the police pulled us over, and they was commenced to trying to plant some fake synthetic marijuana, like a big dumb bag on. I tried to plant it on my husband, yet it didn't go like they planned. Why? Because Facebook Live had just came out, and we had them on camera.
See, technology helps us. Technology will always be on our side when we need it to be at the
Is it
right
though?
time. But, well, in a way, and I'll say because of this, even when they do the injustices to our people, right? They're still exposed.
Okay.
And that's how I look at it. Now, it doesn't help us as far as them getting away with it, because that's the part I can't stand about it.
Right.
But as far as us knowing about it, yeah, a lot of stuff we wouldn't have known if it wasn't for these cameras.
That's true.
Because then they would have been able to get away with a whole lot more than what they've been getting away with.
That's right. That's
you
right.
know, so that's the part of it that I like about the technology part. But is it really in our favor majority of the time? Absolutely not. And that's the part that we fight for, to get that changed.
The end qualified immunity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Needs to be going, the qualified immunity, and for them to get away with all of these murders of our black people, our black and brown people, you know. And I know there's people that's going to say, oh, well, you know, y'all not saying that when it's white people, was not happening at the rate that it is for us, you know. Because when it does happen to y'all get off scot-free, and y'all, you know, get to do what y'all want to do and live y'all life. And thus we getting sentenced football numbers.
That's right. And so we had a 30,000 showed up here in Atlanta this past weekend for the anti-Trump and Elon Musk march and rally.
Right.
I'm working with a organization called the 50501.
Okay.
It's a national organization that has came on the way. They've been around for about 3 months now, that are set to fight back against all the fascism and foolishness. President Donald Trump and wannabe president, co-president Elon Musk. It's been a long year, and it's just April.
Right.
And to attack DEI, diverse, equity, and inclusion, to say that it's an attack against the morality of the United States, when it's actually been working for non-black people more than people of color. You know what I'm saying? The black and brown community and the marginalized. I'm not understanding how they're taking everything and twisting it to make it seem like it's a bad thing, when it's to help people that can't afford to go to school. It's for people to help with people that needs a equal chance at getting the job. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has a piece of paper in education might not be as experienced as a person that been doing this forever, that didn't have that chance to go to college or that Ivy League school. You know what I'm saying? It's giving the kids of immigrants a chance to go to college, to make something of themselves while they are living here in America. America's supposed to be the land of the free, but as we see, it is standing on the very message it stood on when it stole the land and stole people to see after the land. It was built. It stood and still standing on the evilness of it all. And unfortunately, we have to see this in 2025.
That's right. So I agree with you there. You know, for decades and centuries, you know, our people, you know, had suffered from turmoil, from the evil ways of, you know, crooked police officers, corrupt government. And it seems to me they focus more on lining their own pockets than making sure the communities everywhere, especially our community, who's built this whole entire country. We built it.
Yeah.
We built it. There's no other way around that.
The inventions. I mean, you know, we taught people how to bathe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And not be sexually intimate with the animals.
That's right.
You know, we brought seasoning. Huh? You know.
Talk about it.
Clock it. But I just appreciate, and I posted something about Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton is the originator of the Rainbow Push Coalition. I love to study under people that understand the importance of solidarity. You understand what I'm saying? There
Yeah.
has been no war won fighting in silos. You know what I'm saying? You cannot
Yeah.
win anything as a one stand entity. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody plays their part, but you have to fight in solidarity. And it wasn't a lot of us out there, but it was enough to see that Black people are showing up. You know what I mean? We can't get so fixated as, okay, yeah, we didn't get the person that needed to be in the office. That's for one.
Yeah.
Anybody was better than Trump. Okay.
Anybody.
How- however, however, the effectiveness is given the Poor People's Campaign. Martin Luther King started the Poor People's Campaign. The
Yeah.
Poor People's Campaign understands that the fourth leading cause of death is poverty. You understand what I'm saying? And we're running off the basis of 2% that are billionaires that has no indication or lack the education on how poor America, the people of America really is. I understand I
Yeah.
stay in a nice neighborhood. I'm not gonna hold you, but I bet you I'm under the poverty line.
Mm.
I bet everyone in my community is under the poverty line. Why? Because first of all, we are people of color. Our money means nothing unless we spend it on the people that are trying to take down DEI. That's why Target. Shout out to my pastor, Pastor Jamal Bryan of New Birth Cathedral Baptist Church. He's leading the cause and the action on making sure Target don't get a dime from the
Yes,
people
and
of
it's
color.
very effective.
You understand what I'm
They
saying?
have been
Because
hit.
the boycott of Montgomery was effective. Those 50 Cent and them walking to work bankrupt
Right.
the bus line. You understand what I'm saying? So we
Yep.
have to make sure to realize that those, even though we might feel like certain things don't work, it works at a time.
Yeah, we
We
have
got
a
to
great
make sure we
volume.
bring it up to date and make sure we notice and make people see that our black dollars gonna make you feel us. If not, you won't get it.
Right. We do have a real power and power of the dollar.
Yes, we do.
And if a lot of us woke up and understood that, we would be ahead a whole lot more. I truly
That's right.
believe that. So I have another question.
Yes, sir.
How do you process grief when you've constantly surrounded yourself by the pain of others? Your camera went out. I think she went out on us. Folks, Doc slipped out for a second. She might have got a call on her phone or something. She'll be back in a sec. Yeah, Are you there, Doc? Yeah, I think she slipped out. I guess she'll come back out, come back in. But for the time being, y'all, listen, I agree with her, Our spending power, that's something that's very powerful. And when it comes down to it, a lot of these corporations lean on black dollars to become very wealthy. And a lot of us push brands and corporations to be the height of cool. And we do it because we're the ones that like the name, the flashiness, and it's not always about the flashiness. We just like what we like, right? But the truth is, when we do this, we make these corporations very wealthy. But as you can see, in a time like now, when it comes to them really supporting us, they would rather take from us or drop us like we mean nothing. So why support that? Why keep giving your money to people that don't really care about you? They'll take the black dollar, but won't put money in the community. Why be with that? Are you there, Doc? She's still not in. You might have to come out and come back in, Doc. There you go. That's what she gonna have to do. She got it. Okay. All right, she's here. And she's gonna come back in. When she comes back in, we'll be, good to go and keep this interview rolling. I want you guys to understand you are valuable. And that dollar you spend with these corporations everywhere, listen, it's important. You know what I'm saying? So when you decide to spend with these corporations, make sure you spend with the corporation that's going to give back to your community, that's going to employ people that look like you.
That's right.
Because that's essential for our well-being. And their bottom line, it might not get hit as much to them, but from what I'm learning, Target is learning the hard way.
Yes, they are.
They tried to get iPhone to do it, Apple to do it, and Apple denied and rejected the offer to get rid of DEI because they see what Target going through. So don't think that this isn't effective, because it's definitely effective. Put your black dollar in the black community and spend with the black businesses.
That's right.
That's what you do, because your dollar is very powerful.
That's right.
But Doc is back.
Thank you. I received a phone call and it just jumped off.
Okay.
And I believe that's why a lot of people don't understand. Like some of us, I used to be in the labels, but I'm not in the labels anymore.
Yeah.
And I pride myself, for me and my husband, not only telling our kids, hey, you don't have to have a pair of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? With those pair of Jordans, let me show you some other shoes. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you how to, come outside of the trend and be your own self. And that's why the most powerful people I know don't wear a lot of labels.
Yeah.
They wear a lot.
I wear my Jordans, but for the most part,
I have some.
For the most part, I'm gonna be real. For the most part, I wear black owned because I'm a black owned business myself, and I make clothing myself.
Right.
So I'm gonna support myself for one.
That's right.
And I'm gonna support others. Like I got on somebody else's brain right now.
And that's what that's what we supposed to do. But we got into this thing where assign a label. You know what I'm saying? I am a bourgeois. I want to say what you call it? Bougie and ghetto, right?
Bougie and ghetto.
So, but we was proud of ourselves with looking our best because we did not have the best, right?
That's right.
So once I realized that labels didn't make me, and I made the labels because I started seeing stuff that wasn't even name brand, but I liked it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like, I got to a point where, I'm like, I'm about to start spending my money on all these labels. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks good on me. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying not to do that, but think about how much money we're wasting making somebody else rich.
Right. The shoes cost $2,500, but it only costed them $150.
How much was your first pair of Jordans?
My first pair was $275.
My first pair of Jordans were $70 when I was younger.
Oh, because you had them little feet.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it though. Look how many times Jordan came out with the same shoe. Yeah. They was not that high when we was in school.
Yeah, they wasn't. They was about.
Mind you, now we 40 blah 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 years old now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got
like how you did that.
You know what I'm saying? I played basketball. You know what I mean? So you gotta think about it. Like, you had British Knights, you had earrings, you had the Grant Hills, the Iversons. You get what I'm saying? I ain't never liked Shaq shoes, but he had his thing going on. You know what I'm saying? But you had the Pippins, you had all these shoes. But and I was a feline, I guess they come up from up north. But I
Yeah.
was into, what I'm saying, the Ewings and the Grant Hills. My number was number 33 when I did play basketball. But
Okay. What was your position?
Ford.
Okay. I'll cook you.
Please. You know what? Listen, Lawrence. If you would have caught me before I decided to be a mom, I would have roasted you out there. You know what I'm saying? Me with the threes.
I
But
hear that.
I say that to say this: the shoes wasn't as high as they was when we was younger.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I
So,
mean?
as a leader and a voice for so many, how do you make space for your own healing by advocating for others?
I go to church. Like I said, I practice mindfulness. I want to get back into working out because I think somewhere along the way, in coming from being a advocate, a militia to being on the front line, I got so engulfed in the work and I'm so programmed that I kind of forgot to really focus on my health. And so, being that I done had a few health scares, shout out to Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, being I had so many health scares, I'm deciding to put my health first and set boundaries or like, what do I have the capacity for? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
unfortunately, in this work, folks don't grace your sickness. They think just because you're not doing for them or whatever, they're not saying I don't think they processing like, well, maybe she's not feeling well. Well, maybe, maybe he's just need to take a step back. You know what I'm saying? Because some people they ain't got to do nothing and get $30,000.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? All they got to do is show up a couple of times and just act like they're doing the work. But
That's right.
I'm not, that's no hate in my blood because get your hustle on. However, some of us are not out there for that. But at the
That's right.
same time, we have to make sure we're healthy enough to be loved on the people that love us the most, which is our family. I have to stick around long enough. I have to stick around long enough because I am my parents. You know what I'm saying? Space of help. You know what I mean? And so I try to make sure that now I listen to my body. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how I feel to be burned out.
So, who's Portia's support system? Let's talk about it. Who pours back into you, and where do you go to get refilled spiritually and emotionally? Let's talk about it. Now, I kind
Okay.
of know what you're going to say, but I might not know it all, but I know at least one part.
Okay, well, I want to let you know, first of all, I go to God before I go to
That's right.
anything because I understand that the church is me. So I want to be clear on that. But I do go to New Birth Cathedral Baptist Church to get fed the word because I know what the power in numbers, and it feels good to have someone where I can lay my burdens down.
That's right.
That's something that I started practicing last year. I also go to a church called Livingstone's. Um, um, it's a church that I go to online that I met the pastor through a family by the name of the late Deacon Johnny Holman. He was an old elder man that was tased to death by a former officer, Kimbrough of Atlanta PD, and I met the family. Um, I met the church through the family of Deacon Johnny Holloman, and that's what really moved me to kind of get back to a space of fellowship in
Yeah,
the church. So Lively Stone would be my first church. I say, and I started going online with them, getting fed by Pastor Royce Tillman. And it has been so helpful for me because there was really no one in the movement that was actually giving me space to seek the Lord. Like I miss praising God. I miss being in His presence. I used to be on the praise and worship team and things like that. So it really put me back in the space because I had to be with this family that loved the Lord so much and trying to understand why they lost their father. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
I also want to give a shout out to Queen Najah. She's the granddaughter of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. She had this she has this holistic group that she does called Revolutionary Healing, and she does it through indigenous holistic tactics. And so
Okay.
it's very rewarding to know that we have or had or whatever it is now a space where we can release and get all these tools to teach you how to heal and relax and have fun and grab your inner kid, and not only that, understand the importance of being close to your ancestry, right?
Yes.
um my major support system is my family, my parents, my dad. I'm a daddy's girl. If you go on my page and you see somebody named Donna Mitchell saying amen, honey, my parents been my number one fan, A1 day one. It didn't care what I did in my life, my daddy was riding for me. So
Shout out to
I am a
Pops.
daddy's girl, you know what I'm saying? That's why I love the black man so much, because I had a black father in my life, and I love my mom to death because she's this woman with a heart, and she just know how to love on folks, you know what I'm saying, and give herself. So
Absolutely.
I'm my daddy's child, but I have a heart like my mom, you know what I'm saying? And people take advantage of good people, but at the same time, it ain't gonna stop me from helping nobody because I know where my blessings come from. I also my support system is State Representative Park Cannon and staff. Like she give
So
us
so let's talk
space.
about that for a second.
hmm
How did you get into doing things with state representatives and things like that? Like break that story down a bit.
Okay, so about 4 years ago, State Representative Park Cannon, we was fighting this bill called SB 202. It was a voter suppression bill, and she had our back to the fullest as we was fighting. I mean, we all up in the Capitol, like knucking and bucking. You know what I mean? Because we realized that, and it's the same president that was in now. He was the same president at the time, right?
2016,
Yes. No. Come up some. It was 2020,
20,
2021.
20.
Yeah,
Okay.
2021. And so she knocked on the door of the governor as he was trying to sign this bill up on a plantation uh picture. So it was very subliminal. She ended up getting arrested, and they drug her out of the Capitol. She sustained injuries. I mean, almost broke her arm. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And I was just one of the comrades, just being with her every step of the way. So about I want to say this, because I'm going on my third or fourth year working with her as a chief of community affairs. How I got the job was she awarded me an award for all the work that I've done in the community of Fulton County, and I got a call. I was getting ready to get my lobbyist badge to work as a lobbyist in the state capitol, and
Okay.
she gave me a call and was just like, I need you to come in. When can you start? And I was like, excuse me? So she actually had put it on my heart that she to wanted me to work for her, but I really didn't take it serious because I don't like politics like that. You know what I'm saying at the time.
Yeah.
And I end up getting hired as her chief of community affairs, and she allows me to have space to not only to continue to fight, but learn how to look at policies and understanding the policies and how legislation is being passed and how hard they're fighting on the inside versus on the outside. So she actually pulled me off the street um
That's
to
awesome.
to
That's
um
awesome.
to be a better advocate of the people, and it has been so rewarding. And I ain't gonna lie, when she pulled me in, I think I was at a low point. I was really tired, and I think I was fighting that case. I was facing 5 years, and so I didn't know. I ain't gonna lie, that was a dark time. That was a
Yeah.
dark time, and I
Yeah.
thank God
So,
for her.
you know, going through those things and seeing so much racial trauma, like the
Racial trauma,
murder,
yes.
yes, racial trauma, like the murders of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, right? With that going on, how has that taken on your mental health? Like, what was that like for you? Break it down a bit if you want to share a story.
It's almost like I was in a space I didn't ask to be in, right? But I believe God used me to shed a light where it was a lot of chaos at the time.
Right.
It was a lot of people being blamed for things that wasn't true, like burning buildings and things like that. However, it was my voice that stood out to a lot of people. And I remember in 2015, my vocal cords melted together. So I used to sing a lot until that happened. It's once I got on the bullhorn and started chanting and started really using my voice again. And I guess the ancestors was just working through me. But it was around the time COVID hit, and I remember getting real sick. My mother saw that I was stroking out. Not only I was stroking out, I was losing fluid. I was losing oxygen to my brain. And that was the first time I found myself being sick because of the movement. The second time I got sick was, like I said, I want to say the biolab explosion. That's when I found out I had to fight for myself. Also, I'm impacted through environmental justice.
Right.
I can't say it's been a happy fight. It's been very, very hard. It's been very hard. I guess the more you seen, the more new level, new devils.
Mm-hmm.
They coming. They're gonna come. They was coming. I wasn't understanding why. I'm a very nice person. I'm a very kind person. No, who takes stuff from anybody, right? But it caused me to shelter in, you know what I mean, like I don't go as much. I don't watch a lot of TV, right? I don't watch a lot of TV because I think now I feel like the world is too loud, and that'd probably be my PTSD, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I found solitude and peace in the quiet.
That's awesome. Finding solitude and peace through quiet definitely helps because then you don't have to move when everyone else is moving. That's what
That's what I
quiet
found.
means.
That's what I found. And I
Right.
love it. I
It's
love
nothing
it.
like it.
It's nothing like it. And now it's like sometimes I just be like, do I want to deal with this? Not saying I don't want to, but I go in now not as I go into the fights now not as riled up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a hand fight, it's a head fight.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And on top of that, I had to understand as a veteran, I was going into things military minded.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying? So I
I
had to
do.
calm that down a little bit. That's why I had to go to therapy because I had to decipher: am I in a war or I'm in a political game? So, if you will, you know what I'm saying? Which none of it should be a game, but I had to get somebody to help me decipher how to not feel like I'm at a full-fledged war.
I understand. So if you don't mind me asking, where did they have you stationed?
My last duty station was in Darmstadt, Germany. I was in a signal. I was stationed in Fort Leonard Wood. Um, uh, and when I went to Germany, that's where the military sexual trauma happened. I had two white men take me into a room and force me into miscarriage.
Oh man,
Hmm.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hmm.
I'm sorry
But
to hear
but
that.
now mind you, now this is stuff I couldn't talk about. But it
Yeah.
didn't take me till I got into this movement to really be able to express that publicly. it was times where I couldn't talk about it because it was too much to bear. Like I couldn't um see past the fact that that happened to me. I was so angry on the inside. This is where the therapy stuff came in. I did not know. I did not know I was that angry until I had to talk about it and realize that I was holding that. I wasn't living until I talked it out and actually went through what you call it
Trauma
therapy.
therapy.
Trauma therapy. My God, that was something hard to
Oh
go
yeah,
through.
I had to go through it too.
I,
Listen,
yeah,
for
yeah
7 years I was doing trauma therapy.
woo.
You know, and I had to learn about myself and learn about other things I was angry about, other than somebody trying to kill me. You know, that were
You be
buried
like, you really
deep within
fine.
that. I found other things, and I'm like, oh snap! Like yo, like but I had to go through the motions and really dig in deep and do the work so that I can find myself and find out that I was just really a hurt individual by a lot of other things. And because of that, I took my anger out in the streets on people, and I didn't really know how to communicate because I was hurt, And for us
And your
men, that's
pride
something that we
and
deal
your
with a lot.
pride won't let you tell nobody
Right.
what you went
Especially as a
through.
black man, that's what we deal with a lot. We just hold it in. We hold it
Yeah,
in and hold it in until we explode. And then everybody looking at us like we crazy.
And you're
But
not.
it's a reason behind it,
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You have to
Yeah.
go to therapy to know what you're talking about. That's why I was like, yeah, you've been through it. And I'm so proud of you taking your time and allowing us as Black people to talk about mental health and talk about um certain things without feeling judged. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And we have to get out that stigma that Black people that did used to call a lot of people crazy that had anxiety.
Yeah.
Anxiety make you, and to know that a lot of people was probably disciplined or misjudged, what I'm saying, that caused them also to be a product of their environment. We didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it comes from a slave mentality. You
Yeah.
was taught not to cry in front of massa. You was taught not to say anything and just take pain and strife to the chin. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Oh,
right.
don't scream, don't scream. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to wake up massa. You know what I mean? Or when you're told as a child not to express yourself, I say it because I ain't say so. Meanwhile, your child is suffering on the inside because somebody touched them.
So let me ask you this. What's the emotional weight of constantly having to be the strong one for your community? What is that like for you?
It's like burying crosses that don't belong to you.
Speak on.
And people are expecting you to keep those crosses on you until they tell you you can't carry them anymore. And if you put the cross down, now you are an enemy. Because how dare you put the cross down when I'm still hurting? I understand that you probably went through a death or not a death. I
Oh,
understand
I
that you probably.
definitely I died on the operating table. I seen the other side. I seen my grandma who was dead already. Yeah, I actually died
And
for a few
and
minutes, so I
and
get
and and so it's a volunteer work, right? But the level of entitlement is very, very overbearing, and you
very
you you
overbearing.
have to give people grace because they're going through stuff. But who is there for you if somebody died in your family?
That's right.
Who is there for you when your finances are stretched?
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Especially if we the ones putting out our resources. Who gonna give you some money?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what profits a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
So that's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So I would turn down money before I sell out. I can't do it because I've been through things in my life. I don't seen things in my life, and and knowing that I still got my life, priceless.
Yeah, we're never promised tomorrow. You can go to
Yeah.
sleep and not wake up the next day. So
Um,
we can't take it for granted.
Also carrying this on your shoulders, you come to a point where you have to people make you feel like you have to be careful about what you say, and it's
That's
just
true.
like you have to understand and then I had to learn that I'm a villain in somebody's story. It don't even matter. I have really been through a lot of heard a lot of misinformation about me, and it broke my heart to know that it came from my own people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm more like, now I had to get to the point just not to care about that, because I know Porchse. I walk that walk, and it doesn't stop me from being a good person. It doesn't stop me from being a great. It doesn't stop me from being resilient, excellent, beautiful from
That's right.
within, from my soul. I know where my help comes from. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, even when my enemies have talked bad about me, I still help them, because why? I'm solid. I'm solid to the brick. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And I
right.
don't have and I know I don't have to kiss the ring, you know what I
That's
mean,
right.
to get somewhere. I know that I don't have to lead anything to be a leader, because I'm already bred that way. I'm built that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's not
Absolutely.
bragging. That's making sure you know who you are, because you have to be your strongest cheerleader. There is nothing wrong with cheering yourself on and patting yourself. There's a very thick line between being a narcissist and cheering yourself on. Trump,
That's right.
that's a narcissist. He don't even care what he do with himself. He just want people to focus on him, and with that cult like people, a cult like mind do not have a hard time accepting no.
Right.
A cult like mine would be like, okay, well, if you don't do this, then da 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 da. That's a cult like mind. You
Yeah,
get what
he
I'm
wants to run
saying?
a dictatorship. He definitely
Exactly.
wants a dictatorship. And
Exactly. But if you say that you're proud of yourself and you proud of doing your radio hosting, and you think you the ish at doing it, that's not being narcissistic or boasting. You're giving yourself a pat on the back. Why? Because you know what you've been through, what you're going through, and how you got there. That should be
I
commended,
never forget.
not looked down upon. Understand me?
That's right.
Okay.
All right. So, what are some self-care routines or rituals you rely on to stay grounded?
Prayer. That's one. Prayer. I also go into the water and wash my feet. I do that. I
Okay.
actually, being from Buffalo, New York, when I visit the Niagara Falls, I go into the Niagara Falls water and I wash my feet. The water has an electricity in it, and has a spiritual connection in it, where it soothes your being. You know what I'm saying? Like the song "Healing," it's like cooling water.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. I like to sing. I love to praise God. I love to lift. It's like a prayer. It's like a ritual kind of situation. I also take the time, and I like to watch self care documentaries. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? If I find myself, it's almost like if somebody say they see something in me, and I'm like, it's almost when somebody say I don't have self-discipline, it works my mind like how I don't have that when my bearings is keeping me from cussing a lot of people out.
Right.
However, what I'm gonna do is, just since they brought it up, let me figure out how I can be more disciplined. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna be a robot,
Right.
but I try to make sure that I go and take those things. It's almost like playing basketball, right? Just like, say for instance, you made that goal, right? I'm talking about you done took it and boom. Your coach gonna cuss you out because that is not what he asked you to do.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
he
are you
wants you
gonna
to do it the right way.
because you should have passed the ball like he asked you to. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? He don't care nothing about that showboating. I told you to pass the ball. You want to get a 2. I'm trying to get a 3.
That's
Right?
right.
But you was in the moment. They cheer you on. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know that you getting chewed out in the background.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even though you won the game, even though we won the game. But that moment, we could have got even more points, but you were too busy trying to make slam dunk. Self-discipline. You know not to do that again. And guess what? Then guess what the coach gonna do? MVP for the most assists.
That's right. That's right. So,
That's
how do you advocate mental health support among other activists and organizers?
I let them know to practice self-care and focus on your mental health first. I'm
That's
not
cool.
afraid to tell anybody that because this thing will break you down. You
That's
understand what
right.
I'm saying?
That's right. And
And
it's important to do that.
right. And don't laugh at somebody that's going through something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that laughter will very well be your own. What makes you laugh will definitely make you cry.
That's right.
And when it comes to the Black community, it's so important to have grace and care for each other. One thing I know is that if you're not gonna do it, don't ridicule the people that's doing the work
That's right.
because you have no idea the
What they going through.
what they're going through and how they and because yeah, I'm a beautiful woman, so I know how to hold it together. But I have had my times where I broke down, like, hey, oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? However, I realize if that's falling on deaf ear, let me gather myself and take it to the person that I know gonna give me the strength I need, and that's my help from the Lord.
That's right. It
Mhm.
all comes from the Lord.
Absolutely.
That's right. So let's talk veteran insight a bit. How did your time in the military prepare you mentally for the battles you face today in the streets and the system?
It gave me a sense of focus and knowing how to pay attention to details. You know what I'm saying? Observation is everything.
Yeah.
Don't take what one person's saying, just go with it. Analyze, research, and prepare and keep yourself prepared. You know what I'm saying? Survival is the fittest. That's what really keep me grounded, and then on top of that, just living in a Black community, a poor Black community. I don't come from a family of a silver spoon in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
guess what?
A lot of us
I
don't.
Yeah, I know how it feels to have to get money in a way, not in a sexual way, but I'm just trying to keep it. I know how I
Yeah,
feel
the
to.
way where, our lives are, where our hands been forced in at times. I get
Right.
it.
Right. So being a product of my environment, that I was already street smart before I even went into the military, but the military just sharpened it and gave me a level of bearing and maturity. So I'm not able to have to live that way. You know
That's
what I'm
awesome.
saying? But it did prepare me. I didn't know I was gonna be a frontline activist. So that was never my what I thought was gonna happen for me. I just wanted to be an advocate for the community. You know what I'm saying? I was like the Clark Kent effect. You know what I'm saying? I want to
Right.
go help. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get back to the man as soon as I get through helping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I couldn't live that double life like that anymore.
So do you think mental health challenges faced by veterans are similar to those faced by activists? And if you do, how so?
So a veteran has a different space as civilians, right?
Right.
But if you are on the front line, it's kind of almost hand in hand because we're taking on strife not only for doing the right thing, but we're taking on strife from the oppressor that think we're not doing the right thing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a
Absolutely.
constant warfare mentally. So it really goes hand in hand. However, veterans, we're catching it double time because we already done experienced this. So it's a trigger. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's a trigger that triggers your PTSD. And so guess what? You're gonna be in full survival mode after that, like, you know what I mean? Because at this point, your instincts, go to kicking in. So you're not gonna let the person
Immediately.
so you're not gonna let the person next to you get hurt. You're not gonna let the person next to you be talked about jacked up. Meanwhile, the person next to you might not even protect you at all.
That's right.
Civilians
So
are not.
you still have to protect them.
You get what I'm saying? A veteran is
Yeah.
gonna protect. Civilians, they not protecting like that. You know, get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's a difference to really be about that talk, and then when it's time to really get arrested, they wait a minute.
Hold
You know
on,
what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
come down here for that.
With a veteran, we like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm gonna do what I gotta
I'm
do
gonna
to
go because
arrest me.
I already fought for this jacked up country. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just a different state of mind because we already know how it feels to put your life on the line.
Yeah. Oh man, that's an awesome response to that analogy I came up with.
Thank you.
I just, it just made me think, because you're a veteran. That was a question that I wanted to, get some insight about, how you felt about these things. And legacy in the movement, right? You've been called the new frontline amplifier of the civil rights movement, right?
Yes.
Many a times.
A lot, all the time.
Yeah.
All
How
the
do
time.
you protect your peace while carrying that kind of title?
I don't let it go to my head. I just don't let it go to my head. Not at all. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people will say I'm famous, but I didn't even ask to be in these positions. That's one.
God
You know
put
what
you
I'm
there.
saying? Yeah, that's one. I didn't in any position I'm in, I never asked. You know what I'm saying? Any organization I'm a part, I never asked. You know what I'm saying? So, I try not to let it go to my head, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let nobody make me feel like I didn't earn it either. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You didn't give it to me, so you can't take it from me. So there's no there's nothing keeping me at bay anywhere. If anything, somebody would have to gatekeep that in order for me to feel that I'm not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Versus the work speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? I just let the work speak for itself. I don't but if people ask me or if you hear people speaking that upon me, it's because they have known that I've put the work in, like the grit. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
I'm not I let a lot of people talk because some folks need you to be less than in order to make them feel higher. But when you're a person that already anointed and has God calling, you don't have to make people feel less than. Matter of fact, you just walk beside them. You know what I'm saying? And let your light also shine where theirs can as well. And if you are a person of bright light, um you know how to pass the torch. You wouldn't dim nobody's light. You pass it to illuminate more. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? You get more done in the dark when you have more light.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I know how to fight. I know how to fight infrared. I know how to fight in the dark, and I know how to fight in light.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And I agree with you. You
So
know,
there's no judgment on anyone on my end, but I know how I feel to be judged, and so I try not to practice that. You know what
yeah,
I'm
me as
saying?
well.
So if you come with me and opinions about myself, I'm gonna come with facts about you. But as far as that, that's not what I came in to fight for. I come in to fight to eliminate the problem, not to cause drama and cause chaos and problems for anyone. I don't have that. That's not even in my personal life, so I'm not gonna bring it into uh the work I do. My job is to my job is to be a part of the bigger picture, to be in the fight for the greater cause, and that's for liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's right. So, how can we build a movement that includes rest and healing as part of the resistance?
Oh, like I said, have these groups, like I said, like revolutionary healing, have spaces that gives that space to the people that out here fighting. It ain't but 13% of us out here. It might like seem like a lot of people, but the
Yeah,
ones that really is putting the work in and
yeah,
taking this stuff home, you'll never be the same, so I feel like there should be organizations built for activists and advocates and people that volunteer and put their life on the line, because I'm telling
that's
you,
right.
once you've been sprayed with tear gas or arrested for somebody you ain't never met before, or be in a space where you're fighting for your life not to be locked, it changes the trajectory of your process mind. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It gives room for other trauma to come in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And people should respect, folks that have really put the wear and tear on their body and their mental health for us. So it should be some facilities. I feel like a lot of clergy should step up and come outside of the walls and or make spaces on the inside of the walls to be able to say, hey, how you feeling today? I appreciate, you asked me that and I wasn't ready for that, right? And but guess what, when you go to therapy, they were like, well, how you feeling today? You
That's
good
why
until you ain't good.
that's one thing that I've learned, excuse me. They asked me from the rip, like you just said, that's the first thing they ask. So, you know, not just doing it to be a better host. I
Right.
really was asking how you feel today.
I know, and you saw how taken back I was. I was like, I think I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That was that, and it took me off guard because I'm just ready for the interview. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get this out the way. You know what I'm saying? Sis is tired, but at the same time, it really warmed my heart because that's one thing a lot of people don't ask us frontline advocates is how you doing? Are you okay? It's more of what can you do for me
right.
versus hey, look, are you good? You look happy, but how you feeling? And this weekend, I don't know, maybe because I haven't, a lot of folks in Atlanta haven't seen me because I've been doing a lot of traveling, and it brought out a multitude of people that has been in this fight, here since the summer 2020, right? Because that's when a lot of us met each other, and that's how the tribe ended up together like it is. But I guess people's just the thought of people asking me was I okay, and the abundance of people asking me was I okay, kind of took me back because I had to sit back like, is it in my face? Like, what I'm yeah, like, am I not masking enough to focus on not my personal or my own being, and I'm putting myself for the people. And you know what I'm saying? Like, did I miss that part? So when I thought about it, I said, well, damn, people really are paying attention to me. People really, really care. Like, and it just did something to me. And I just said, man, well, I didn't give a chance to ask myself, was I okay? To be honest, I don't know. So, that's the truth. But it was not accepting the fact that saying, yeah, I'm okay. They looking like, you sure? And I'm looking at them like, no, I'm not sure, But it really warmed my heart to know how many people are actually paying attention to me because like I said, I've been trying so much to like like I said, be within self and introvert
Yeah.
because I just want I'm so guarded for my peace and solitude to I'm not even realizing like, hey, what I'm saying, Queen, we just want to let you know we're still here for you. It was a lot
Yeah.
of that going on. Like, we got your back, baby. We are here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see you, we hear you, and we see you. So just know that we want you to always know that you are okay, because they saw the breakdowns and the ups and the downs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? All the ridicule and the misinformation a lot of people did towards me that was just entirely unnecessary, and it broke me. You know, it broke me to a point where I was ready to leave the fight, but it was people like Rel Park Cannon and you know, people like her that was just like, hey, you know, so I need you to focus, I need you to stay in. Hold on, I got something for you. And she pulled me in and pulled me on the inside. Now I'm ready to you know, be a policy changer and future to run for office.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
cool.
I don't want to be the president.
So, state
No.
representative, senator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
pretty cool.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
somewhere in there. But you know, I don't all that power to anybody that want to be. But like the badgering and all that folks have to do just to get a seat. I'm not with them. If I run against somebody, I want to let them know. First of all, I'm not your enemy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to bash you. I'm just here to let you know what I can do.
That's right.
That's how I'm running that's how I'm gonna run.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, listen, the people got a beautiful person to vote for.
Thank
You know what I'm
you.
saying? And I got two more questions before we get out of here.
Let's
Okay.
go. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would you say to young activists who are passionate but mentally overwhelmed by the weight of the world?
I would tell them to reset. I would tell them to take a step back and get some rest. I would tell them to go to someone that they're able to talk to, if they want to talk to me, right? So they can navigate their feelings. I would tell them don't leave the fight, but it'll be back when you get back. It'll be
That's
right
right.
here. The fight is not one thing. The fight is not gonna do is go anywhere. But you
That's right.
need to get you some rest. You need to step back. You need to go on a vacation, right? And you know that's what I tell them. I need you to go touch some grass. Go get around your family and let them love on you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
those are the people. Like it could be some false love out here, so don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Some things are very seasonal in the movement, but get around some people that know you, that can love that, so you can you
Be
know
a better
just
version of you.
be a better person to yourself.
That's
Because
right.
if you're not a better person to yourself, you're no good to nobody.
That's right. That's right. This was an awesome interview. You can't make this your last time. You got to come on, you know, throughout the year. I would love to
Okay.
have you on several times throughout the year.
Thank
Your energy
you.
is awesome,
Thank you.
and you spread a lot of light, love, and positivity, and that's why I wanted you on. You know,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate your fight for our people and everyone else, because equality is needed for everyone, not just us, right?
Thank you.
But
Thank
we
you.
are the center of it. So I'm gonna say it just like you said it, because I feel the same way. Black Lives Matter grassroots
Is
is Black
Black
Lives
Lives
Matter.
Matter. Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah,
let's get that clear, y'all.
yeah.
There's some misconceptions and other Black Lives Matters out there,
So
but
go
they're
to
not the official tissue. Y'all need
yeah,
to know
so
that.
I just want to say shout out to BLM Grassroots. Please go to IG, Facebook, X. I don't even go on there, but I follow BLM Grassroots. I think we have over like 30 some chapters.
That's right.
BLM ATL Grassroots. Please follow some of the leaders. You can come follow me on Instagram at Porchse Queen Miller. PorchseQueenMiller. And if you want to be connected to any of the organizations and social groups here in the Atlanta metro area or in Alabama, you know what I mean? Just reach out to me. I'll see what I can do for you.
That's right. And as y'all see, folks, visit blmgrassroots.org to learn more about Black Lives Matter Grassroots. We're here I am the North Carolina chapter, y'all. We're gonna be moving and booming. And listen, I can't wait to get started my journey with BLM Grassroots once the onboarding cycle is complete for me.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited. Like, I'm very excited. So, you know, I'm going to continue to bring all types of stories and everything for our people and still do my hip hop, y'all. So I want y'all to know that, you know, hip hop is also a voice for our people that won't ever change. So, anything else you want to say before we get off? I need a
Yes,
solo
I'm actually part of the Selma Hip Hop Summit for Selma for the Selma Jubilee Festival.
Oh, that's dope.
And the Selma Jubilee Crosswalking. I'm on the committee with Dr. Adea of Transform Alabama. Alongside, I work with my godfather Kenny Glasgow Sharpton with his wife Rodrisha Russo. We're getting ready to do a 51 tour state hip hop cipher with Mr. Server and other activists coming out of Atlanta, Alabama, Louisiana, people that have worked with Mac and C Murder. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the political prisoners of hip hop. So, you know, we're getting ready to set that off in August. So just look for, you know what I'm saying? We probably come to North Carolina and do some ciphers, but we're trying to do an intergenerational connection for the youth, that to get them to better understand the difference between hip hop, being a lyricist, and understanding the importance of coming out the dome versus just saying things and putting out the wrong message.
That's right. That's right. I'm an artist too. And now I'll be real. I got my little lyricism side of me, but I got my street side of me too. And that's because I'm a product of my environment,
Well,
like you spoke on.
My mom used to sound nice back in the day, you know what I mean? But hey, you know
I can switch it up, you know, talk about my political. I got a political side too. So, you know.
Okay, Dead Press. I see what you're saying.
I got a little political side to me too, you know. So for our community, there are things that needs to be spoke on. And, you know, this project that I'm working on, it's going to come out, and I just hope people love it. I think what you're doing is very dope. I want to thank you for coming on once again.
You're welcome.
And like I said, don't be a stranger.
I would definitely not be a stranger. This was nice. Thank you so much for having me. It's actually giving me rolling out when I was at the show and rolling out. Shout out to Rashid, and so you know I think you're doing a great thing. Thank you for opening up your platform to the individuals like us. It's been a blessing to be on here tonight. I wasn't expecting. I didn't know what to expect. You know, I didn't know if I had to. You know, I didn't know if we had to get real cruddy when it comes to the political world, but this has been fun. Thank you for advocating for Black communities and mental health and understanding the importance of just taking care of yourself. Not just taking care of yourself to be a servant to others, but taking care of yourself to be a service to your family as well. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much for that. And I'm just going to say, I let God use me as a vessel to get people's stories out, because this show is for everybody, artists, executives, activists, whatever. Share their mental strain and journey that they've been on their way to get to where they are. So
it's a beautiful nightmare. It's a beautiful nightmare, but at the end of the day,
it is a beautiful nightmare. Or like my friend song says, majestic nightmare.
It's a majestic nightmare, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all for a good cause. And God, I give him all the glory, the honor, and the praise. And I would not be able to do this without him at all.
Oh, that's awesome. So turn your camera off, but don't hang up. I'm going to end the show.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Hey, listen, folks. I hope y'all enjoyed today. You know, this episode was another one brought to you by Collywood Radio, Going In Radio, Collywood Music, Collywood TV. This is hiphop.com. the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic and Damani Brand. So I hope y'all enjoy yourselves and stay tuned for what we got coming. We got more coming to y'all through the week. As always, moving and booming. I got some things that I got coming for y'all. Got some records as well. So stay tuned for that. And we're here. DDS, we in the building. As always, we moving and booming. So, once again, it's your boy Tigmatic. Love, light, happiness. Put God first, and everything else will follow. Be safe. Enjoy your night. Peace.
Everybody go attacking with the pot with Tigmatic.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an
Hill,
episode of me on
and
it.
you are tuned into the Pot Podcast.
With the Pop Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down.
To follow the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.